It starts so quietly you hardly notice. One moment you're saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," and the next, tomorrow becomes a blur of yesterdays. That's how delay enters, softly, politely, never knocking loud enough to alarm you. It seduces you with comfort, promising that waiting won't hurt, and in the beginning it doesn't. But delay has a shadow, and that shadow grows longer each time you choose to wait. Eventually, there's a voice inside you, small but urgent, asking if you're running out of time. You begin to wonder if the window is closing, not slamming shut, just narrowing. You notice the things you once had the energy for now feel heavier. Conversations you meant to have feel harder. Dreams that once felt near now seem to drift further each day. It's the quiet ache of realization. Time isn't unlimited, and it never promised to wait for you. What about you? Have you felt that tension between waiting and acting? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. We lie to ourselves with the word later. We clothe our fears in logic, saying we need more time to prepare, more clarity, more confidence. But deep down, we know it's not really about needing more. It's about avoiding the truth that action is scary, so we decorate our delay with good reasons, and those reasons become chains that hold us still. But stillness, over time, becomes stagnation, and what once was a choice becomes a trap. Thank you for being here this far. Your time is valuable, and I don't take it lightly. What's ahead in this journey is even more powerful, more revealing. If these first moments already stirred something in you, trust me, what's coming will reach even deeper. The promises we make to ourselves are sacred, yet we break them so easily. I'll start Monday. Next month will be different, but with each broken promise, we chip away at our self-trust. Eventually, we stop believing our own words. And that's dangerous. Because when you can't trust yourself to act, it doesn't matter what plans you make. They'll collapse under the weight of doubt. Opportunities don't come with guarantees. They expire. They drift past like trains, slowing down just long enough to be caught, but only by those ready to jump. If you hesitate, if you stand back weighing the risks too long, that moment slips. And it might not come back. Not all doors reopen. Not all chances repeat. There's a silence that follows missed chances. It's not loud, it doesn't scream, it just lingers, echoing in your mind. You replay the moment you should have acted. You see it clearly now, what you should have said, done, decided. But clarity after the fact is a cruel gift. It shows you what was possible, just as it fades from reach. Regret doesn't announce itself. It arrives like fog, subtle, creeping and cold. You don't notice it right away, but suddenly everything feels dampened, dimmed. You move slower, you look back more than forward. That's how you know regret has taken root, and the longer you wait to act, the deeper it grows. But guilt and responsibility are not the same. Guilt paralyzes, responsibility empowers. When you take responsibility for what you didn't do yesterday, you reclaim your power today. It doesn't erase the past, but it stops the bleeding. It gives you permission to change. And sometimes that's all you need. To remember that while you can't control what happened, you still control what happens next. There's a haunting in the voices we ignored, the advice we brushed off, the warnings we rolled our eyes at. Those voices don't disappear. They stay, not to shame us, but to remind us that we were never really alone. We just refused to listen. And sometimes it's only in hindsight that we hear them clearly. Even when everything seems lost, hope can flicker like a candle in the wind. It doesn't need to roar, it doesn't need to shout, just a single spark, one thought, one prayer, one glimpse of possibility is enough to shift your entire direction. Hope isn't loud, but it's powerful, and it shows up when you're quiet enough to receive it. Making a decision can feel like a rebirth, not because everything changes instantly, but because something inside you wakes up. You stop being passive. You stop drifting, you grab the wheel, and suddenly you remember you were never just a passenger in your life, you were always meant to drive. True growth happens when no one's watching. It's in the quiet choices. The morning you wake up early without applause. The evening you say no to distraction without a cheer. That's the soil where change takes root. Not in the spotlight, but in the silence. Routines can feel restrictive until you realize they're the rails that keep you moving forward. Without them, you drift. But with them, you build momentum. One small habit repeated over time becomes a lifeline, a rhythm, a rescue from the chaos of random days. Relationships don't mend themselves. Time doesn't heal all wounds. Intentionality does. And if you keep waiting for the perfect moment to reach out, apologize, or reconnect, that moment may never come. The people you love need your action, not your intention. We rush through things that don't matter and delay what truly does. It's a strange illness of our time. Speed where we should slow down, hesitation where we should move fast. We've confused urgency with noise and forgotten that some things can't wait. Absence speaks. The things we fail to do echo louder than the ones we complete. A missed call, an unopened letter, a chair left empty at dinner. Our inaction ripples through others' lives in ways we don't always see until it's too late to change it. Life always settles accounts. Not as punishment, but as consequence. You may ignore your body until it breaks. You may delay a conversation until the silence grows permanent. What you plant, action or neglect, will grow. Eventually, pain is a teacher. But some lessons come at a high price. Sometimes we don't learn until we've lost. Sometimes it takes hitting the ground to understand what was truly holding us up. And in that moment, we must choose. Stay down or rise with new understanding. Purpose can be born in the ashes. When everything comfortable burns away, when the old life no longer fits, that's when something deeper emerges. Not just a goal, not just a dream, but a reason to keep going, a mission forged in fire. Redemption doesn't arrive like a miracle. It's built day by day with trembling hands and tired feet. It begins when you stop asking for a way out and start building a way forward. And though it may look small at first, every brick laid with intention becomes a foundation for something new. Discipline is not punishment, it's self-respect. When you choose what's right over what's easy, you're telling yourself that your future matters, that your life deserves structure, and that you won't keep betraying yourself for comfort. That's not restriction, that's freedom in disguise. People are watching, even when you think no one cares. Your quiet effort, your late-night decisions, your honest choices, they leave footprints. Someone is learning from your strength, even if you never know their name. Your life is a message. Live it clearly. Today has urgency, not because it's loud or dramatic, but because it's disappearing. The longer you wait to act, the more today fades into memory, and once it's gone, it's gone. You can't touch yesterday, but you can hold today. For now, small wins matter. They accumulate. They stack up until one day they tip the scale. That one workout, that one phone call, that one honest conversation. These are not meaningless. They're the bricks in the wall of your comeback. Sometimes you catch the moment just in time, before it slips, before the door closes. It's rare, but when it happens, you feel it. That surge of clarity, that whisper in your gut. And if you listen, really listen, it can change everything. Purpose doesn't arrive like thunder. It reveals itself in whispers, a quiet moment where everything aligns, where your past pain starts to make sense, where the future you feared starts to feel possible. You don't always find it. Sometimes it finds you. Fear wears many masks. It calls itself caution, logic, responsibility. But when you strip it down, you see the truth. It's fear of failing, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. And naming it is the first step to defeating it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's motion in the face of it. It's saying yes when your hands are shaking. It's showing up when you'd rather hide. And each time you do, you grow, you change, you move forward despite the fear. Regret can teach you not to dwell, but to decide. If you let it, it becomes fuel, a reminder of who you were and who you no longer want to be. You can't rewrite the past, but you can make sure the future tells a different story. Sometimes you have to clean up what you've broken, not because you can fix everything, but because facing the mess is how you heal. Avoidance never erases consequences, but responsibility clears the fog and shows you a path forward. Letting go is not forgetting. It's accepting that some things will never return. Some people won't come back. Some seasons won't repeat. And clinging to what's gone keeps you from embracing what's still possible. A second chance is never earned. It's a gift. Life doesn't owe us another shot, but sometimes it offers one anyway. What we do with it is our response of gratitude, and how we treat it reveals how much we've truly changed. New beginnings require burial. You can't carry everything into the next chapter. Some beliefs, some habits, even some relationships must be left behind. If you don't release the old, it will strangle the new. Self-forgiveness is not weakness, it's strength. It's the courage to stop punishing yourself for being human, to say, I failed, but I'm not a failure. I stumbled, but I still walk forward. Forgiveness is not permission to stay the same. It's power to transform. Forgiving others isn't about setting them free. It's about releasing yourself. Bitterness is a cage, and the key is compassion, not because they deserve it, but because you do. You deserve to move forward unchained. There's a unique weight in things we never lived, the words we never spoke, the dreams we never chased. That weight builds slowly until one day it's unbearable. And it's not too heavy because of what we did. It's heavy because of what we didn't. Everything changes when you do. Your perspective, your energy, your direction. The world may look the same, but you respond differently, and that changes everything. You begin to shape your reality instead of reacting to it. The way you live is louder than anything you say. People remember your presence, your patience, your peace. You don't have to preach to be a message. Sometimes just living with integrity becomes the most powerful sermon. You can't turn back time, but you can decide that from this day forward, the story will be different. You're not stuck in a loop. You're standing at a crossroads, and one step, even a small one, can break the cycle. There's beauty in being found when you're lost, not because someone rescues you, but because grace meets you in the wreckage. It doesn't ask you to be perfect. It just asks you to come as you are. And that invitation is always open, even in your darkest hour. Good things take time. Change isn't instant. Healing isn't linear, and growth doesn't happen in a straight line. There will be moments you feel like nothing is working, but underneath, the roots are strengthening. Be patient. Your harvest is growing, even when you can't see it yet. Starting over requires humility. It means admitting the old way didn't work, that you got lost, that you need a new direction. But humility isn't shame. It's strength in its rawest form. It's the gateway to every meaningful transformation. Simplicity is powerful. You don't need 10 steps or a perfect plan. You need clarity. You need to strip away the noise and return to what matters. Sometimes the most radical act is to make your life smaller, but deeper. Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. When you step away from the noise, you begin to hear what your soul has been whispering all along. In quiet moments, truth has space to rise, and what you find there can guide your next step. Being present is a discipline. It's not about having nothing to do, it's about doing one thing with your whole heart. Putting your phone down, looking someone in the eye, breathing in the moment without rushing past it. That's where life really happens. Spiritual discipline grounds you. Prayer, stillness, scripture, acts of service. These are not rituals of obligation. They are anchors in chaos. They center your heart and remind you that you're not navigating this life alone. When you step back, you see how the pieces connect. The pain, the pauses, the victories, the failures. Life has a rhythm, and when you trust the process, you begin to see the beauty in how it all weaves together. We leave behind more than we know. In every word we say, in every decision we make. There's a legacy forming, not in wealth or fame, but in impact, in how people feel when they remember us, in what we stood for, day after day. When the story of your life is told, what will echo? Will it be regret or redemption, delay or decision? It won't be the noise that defines you, but the quiet choices, the unseen battles, the moments no one applauded. Those are the ones that last. Sometimes, all that stands between you and the life you want is one step, one decision, one act of bravery. You don't have to leap a mountain, you just have to move, because between almost and absolutely lies only a heartbeat of courage. There is still time, not forever, but enough to heal, enough to grow, enough to become who you were meant to be. The clock is ticking, yes, but the hands haven't stopped. The door is not closed, and the invitation to begin again is still open. You are not too late. The road behind you may be long. The weight of your waiting may be heavy, but as long as you are breathing, you are not finished. There is more in you, more to give, more to live. The measure of your life is not in how fast you went, but in how faithfully you walked, step by step, fall and rise, again and again. That is where strength is built, in the continuation, not the perfection. You do not need a perfect start. You need a willing heart, one willing to try, to fail, to learn, to begin again, even when beginning feels hard. That willingness will take you farther than any strategy ever could. The future honors the brave, not the fearless, but the faithful, the ones who show up scared, who choose progress over comfort, who walk toward what matters, even when every step feels unsure. Pain will visit you, but so will grace. And between the two, you'll be shaped into something stronger. You don't have to love the pain, but you can respect what it teaches. You can use it as a mirror and a ladder. Your story isn't small, even if the world doesn't clap, even if no stage is ever built in your honor. What you do matters. To someone, to heaven, to the quiet circle of people who call your life a blessing. One day, the silence will come, the final page will turn. And when it does, may it not be filled with what-ifs, but with I-dids. May it reflect a life lived on purpose, not on pause. And if today is that turning point, let it be. Let today be the day you stop delaying, the day you step out from the shadows of doubt, because there is an immeasurable distance between late and too late. And you, right now, are standing in the space where everything can still change.